Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm your astrologer, here to talk to you about the Sagittarius full moon lunar eclipse occurring tomorrow on June the 5th. So this is a pretty exciting full moon. It is occurring in the sign of Sagittarius, a fire sign, and it is our first eclipse in this eclipse season. We will have 3 eclipses within the next 30 days. So pretty unusual. As a matter of fact, we will have 7 eclipses this year in 2020, which is the maximum amount that can occur in a calendar year. So between June the 5th and July the 5th, we will be having 3 eclipses. Tomorrow is a lunar eclipse. Then on June the 21st will be a solar eclipse in Cancer. And then on July the 5th, we will have another lunar eclipse in Capricorn. So an eclipse always occurs either on a new moon or a full moon. If it occurs on a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse. And if it occurs on a new moon, it's a solar eclipse. So let's just talk about some things that are happening with this Sagittarius energy. So eclipses eclipse something from our lives. They remove something. They clear contracts, karma, situations, relationships in order to make room for the new and higher vibration to flow in assistance of our soul's evolution. It's for our personal spiritual growth. And so where are we now? We are currently in Gemini season. The sun is in Gemini. The sun on the 2nd and the 3rd was in an exact conjunction with Venus in retrograde, which is also in Gemini. Pretty humongous. So Venus conjunct the sun in Gemini. Venus just moved from an evening star into a day star with this conjunction. So this starts a new Venus cycle, which happens every 584 days. This is a new Venus cycle. What does Venus represent? It represents our values. How are your values shifting? How are your energies moving forward? We're moving from the dark and the night into the morning and the light. So this is a new Venus cycle. When the sun and Venus are within 10 degrees of each other in this conjunction, Venus moves into rising with the sun. So that's why it becomes a morning star. So that is one significant thing that occurred just days before this eclipse. Also, this is moving into the eclipse season with summer solstice, which will occur on the next one. So if you want to know about the energy of this particular eclipse, the sun and Venus are in Gemini. The moon is in Sagittarius, exactly across from it. So where is 16 degrees of Gemini in your chart? Do you have any planets around that? Or Sagittarius? Is it your moon sign? Is it your rising sign? Is it your sun sign? What houses do they occur in? Interestingly, the north nodes of the moon just shifted from Cancer and Capricorn into Gemini and Sagittarius. So now we are on the nodal axis of Gemini Sagittarius energy. And the nodes, when the north node represents traditionally things that we are moving towards, our future, our destiny. It is the north node, the true node of destiny. The south node represents our past and karmic ties and things that are dissolving and that we need to let go of, even if they feel very comfortable, things that must pass. And so letting those things pass helps us to free up room to move towards our future. So we have this Sagittarius eclipse full moon occurring where the south node is currently in Sagittarius, representing some belief systems, some truths that perhaps we need to let go of, that we need to clear. So Sagittarius and Gemini both are intellectual seekers of higher truth. They both want to know the higher spiritual philosophy. Sagittarius, being a fire sign, is very passionate about knowing their beliefs. And Gemini is that air intellectual, mutable ability to adjust and discover by studying all of the different religious and spiritual philosophies what works as a practical application in our personal lives. And so that's what we want to be moving towards. We really want to embody those Gemini characteristics with the Sun in Gemini and Venus in Gemini, and our values represented by Venus shifting in Gemini. And so that is kind of the energy of the Sagittarius and Gemini axis during this. Okay, we will have the opportunity through this eclipse season to really clear anything that is preventing us from stepping into our full abundance moving forward. That is often what an eclipse season initiates in our lives, initiates change, a letting go, a removal, and a beginning. They're endings and beginnings. So the next eclipse that we will be having, and I'm mentioning this because it's pretty significant, will be at 0 degrees of Cancer, and that will be a solar eclipse. And then the third one, the lunar eclipse, will be in Capricorn. So pretty interesting that the nodal axis of the past 18 months, the past year and a half, has just shifted from that Cancer Capricorn energy. So that Cancer energy is the mother, the nurturer, the equalitarian acceptance and love of home and family. So, you know, we have spent the last 18 months hopefully doing some emotional healing within ourselves and having the communications with others in order to initiate healing. And so as this eclipse season unfolds, we will be presented with the opportunity to really wrap up loose ends here. It is an energy of coming back to that 0 degrees of Cancer, and then the next one eclipsing in Capricorn. So it's the last time we will be near the nodal axis of Cancer and Capricorn in that energy for 18 years. So this is an opportunity for us to do some final closing steps on nurturing ourselves, nurturing others, and stepping into that sense of home and family represented by the Great Mother. So, you know, how have your ideas of what a home is and what a family is, how have they shifted over the past 18 months? And moving forward, how do you want to create your home and your family and your center of nurturing within yourself? So this is an opportunity for us to come back to that energy and complete the work so that we can move into the Gemini energy. The North Node is now in Gemini. What does Gemini do? Gemini takes all of those lessons, all of that nurturing, all of that emotional healing, and puts it into a practical application in our lives. With it being an air energy, Gemini, we can intellectually understand the process of death and rebirth, the process of renewal, the process of beginnings and endings. We understand that something has to leave in order to make room for something else to flow in. And so that is the theme throughout this whole entire eclipse season. It's preparing us to move in to the energy of the nodes being in Gemini and Sagittarius for the next year and a half. Okay, so what else is going on? Mercury is in Cancer right now. So Mercury is in the sign of Cancer. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. Mercury rules our voice and the way we communicate. So it is also square to Black Moon Lilith and Chiron in Aries. This is a wonderful opportunity through this square, especially to our Chiron, to our wounded healer, to have those conversations with ourselves, to really empower those vulnerable parts of us and step into our energy of being healed so that we can help others with their healing moving forward. So Mercury also being in Cancer is about, you know, themes around the home and the family and having those conversations, expressing the emotional needs we have within our family unit and listening as others communicate their needs, you know, really paying attention and making that connection within our family unit. So Mercury will be going retrograde on the 21st in Cancer, on the 18th in Cancer. So Mercury stations retrograde on the 18th. Then on the 21st, we have the solar eclipse in Cancer at 18 degrees. And then on the 23rd of June, Neptune goes retrograde. And then on the 25th, Venus will station direct. So a lot happening in June. So Neptune is transiting in Pisces close to Mars. This eclipse, the sun in Gemini will be squaring along with Venus, conjunct the sun, right there close to it, will be squaring Mars in Pisces during the lunar eclipse tomorrow. So Mars is our action planet. Mars is in Pisces. Neptune is close by. Neptune feels very comfortable in Pisces. Mars does not. A lot of astrologers have referred to Mars drowning in the waters of Pisces. I like to think of it more as kind of a shamanic healing of Mars. Our action, the way we move forward, really being immersed and submerged in that Neptunian, Piscean energy of the spiritual realm. So Neptune really is activating our spiritual drive. So this square from the eclipse to Mars in Pisces is really an opportunity for us to tap into that spiritual realm, to tap into our deep understanding of our spiritual source and receive insights and messages through spiritual modalities, perhaps incorporating with that energy of Gemini, that practical application, incorporating a regular spiritual practice in our lives, meaning a daily meditation every morning, or a yoga practice, or a sound healing, or connecting with nature by being outside every single day, and really seeing nature and spirit as one in our lives. And once we activate that within ourselves, and we make it through the eclipse season, and everything starts to move direct around September when Venus is direct, we can start to make some forward momentum and really implement the spiritual insights that have been received and cultivated during this time, and put them into action, into positive action, to create a flow of abundance in our lives. So Neptune will retrograde on June the 23rd. I want to mention Neptune because Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and it is our higher heart, our spiritual source. And it's a beautiful, supernatural, mystical, spiritual energy to feed our souls from that spirit realm. However, the shadow side, you know, there's always a higher and a lower vibration of every energy. The shadow side of Neptune really can be a foggy, illusion, delusional energy. And oftentimes, if we are not operating in the highest vibration of an energy or of ourselves, we can tap into that shadow side of Neptune, which manifests in the form of escapism, in the form of addictions and addictive toxic behaviors, a way of checking out, an escapism tendency. And so when Neptune stations retrograde on June the 23rd, right after the solar eclipse, this could be very shocking to a lot of people, because this has been a very nebulous time of Mars and Neptune in Pisces. And so once Neptune goes retrograde and that veil is lifted and that fog is removed, we will see the reality of the things that we have been hiding from or escaping from in our lives. And so, you know, that can be very triggering. So really something to be aware of and very mindful of not acting on that impulse to escape. So really tapping into that higher vibration of spirit so we can formulate a plan where we can put these practices into action moving forward through the rest of the eclipse season. So if you need any direction on this in your personal chart, feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share my insights with you. And I hope you have a wonderful full moon in Sagittarius.